Darren, we spoke last week on the fire threat, now floods. How are people holding up there?
Well, thanks, Kieran. It has been quite an extraordinary 72 hours in Gippsland. We had the fire threats, as you referred to earlier on, and then those rain events where we had between 4 and 8 inches, that's 100 mils to 200 mils of rain falling in a 48-hour period, obviously impacting on catchments right from one end of Gippsland to the other. I'm in Malakuta today, catching up with residents here. I had a pre-existing commitment for a bushfire prevention meeting. Meantime, at the other end of my electorate, we're having flood meetings where people are gathering to make sure they're looking after their neighbours, keeping everyone safe. So it's been an incredibly diverse 72 hours or so, and we're very thankful for the emergency services, for the CFA, for the SES, for the volunteer crews and the career firefighters who've been involved in the initial emergency, but then following on from holding fire hoses to filling sandbags. It has been quite an extraordinary 72 hours.
It has been, and we know your seat, it's a large one. Is it used to these sorts of extremes?
Well, we are used to bushfires, obviously. Here in Malakuta, we're the subject of a major disaster with the Black Summer bushfires in 2019, 2020. And floods are a frequent occurrence in Gippsland. Obviously, you've got some very significant river systems right through from the Genoa River, where I'm nearby, to the Snowy River, the Thompson, the McAllister, the Latrobe. It's the McAllister this time that's caused all the problems. We had heavy rainfall in the upper reaches of the McAllister River, which impacted on Lake Glenmaggie. Now, Lake Glenmaggie is an irrigation dam, quite a small dam in comparison to the water catchments of, say, Sydney or Melbourne. It holds about 170,000 megalitres, and during the peak of this flood event there was about 60,000 megalitres per day flowing into the dam and about 60,000 megalitres per day flowing out of the dam. So obviously that's going to have downstream impacts. So at some point during this event, the river and the dam almost became one, and there was a lot of water going over the dam wall, which is now having its impact on places like Tanamba, Newry, Riversley, and closer down towards Maffra and Sale. So these flood events are not unusual in Gippsland, but coming hot on the heels of a bushfire, it's something I haven't seen before.
What have you been told about the impact on industry, and particularly primary industry, as it is a big supplier for not just Melbourne and Victoria, but the rest of the country as well?
Yeah, look, Kieran, this is a fascinating event in that regard. I mean, you ask any farmer and they'll tell you there's money in mud. There's money when it rains. So, for a lot of my region that hadn't had good rainfall over winter and September, these rains have been very welcome. So areas that received 50 to 75 millimetres of rain, they'd be very happy with those. But in the McAllister Irrigation District, where we're seeing properties inundated, there's obviously a clean-up required, and there'll be some crop losses. So it's a major dairy area around that McAllister Irrigation District, but also quite a lot of horticultural activity as well. So we're not sure yet what we've seen in terms of actual crop losses, but obviously the dairy farmers will crack on with the milking. It's just going to be really tough getting the cows to and from the sheds during this wet period, but it is a very significant dairy industry in that McAllister Irrigation District, and as the floodwaters recede, there'll be good pasture growth as a result. There'll be less demand on the irrigation dam for the next few weeks or so, but we're expecting a long, hot, dry summer, so water in the dam is going to be important as the summer goes on.
Indeed, and as we're talking about the floods, let's get back to the fires. You've been meeting with locals in Malakuta, a beautiful part of Victoria, one that knows, as you said, from recent experience, difficulties with fires. How well placed is your region to deal with the fire threat over coming weeks and months? It's already had a taste of it. Are they well equipped now?
Well, it's a bit of a yes and no answer. Sorry, Kieran, I hate to sound like I'm sitting on the fence. I've no doubt at all that the private landholders, the people who are live in this area for a long time, are well prepared. They're putting their fire prevention plans in place, and that means clearing up around their properties and making sure they've got water on standby if required. I am very alarmed and continue to be alarmed about the lack of prescribed burning or fuel reduction burning within the state forest and national park areas. What really concerns me, Kieran, is we live in an area where we know we're going to get hot days. We know there's going to be points of ignition, whether it's accidents or lightning. The only thing we can actually control when it comes to wildfires is the fuel load. So we have to do more as a nation, as a community, as a region to reduce the fuel load on public land. And that's one of the real challenges about it. How we do more prescribed burning, more cool burns at the right time of year to avoid those wildfires in summer.
Darren Chester, we'll talk to you soon. Appreciate the update live from Malakuta this afternoon. Thanks.
All the best, Kieran. Have a great day.